In many African countries, people with albinism are being relentlessly hunted and brutally killed because parts of their bodies are believed to possess magical properties. As a result, people with albinism live in constant fear, unsure of when this horrific hunting spree will truly come to an end. I really want to protect my child, but I don't know what to do, Martha Firim, a woman in Malawi, said as she looked at her 9-year-old daughter Esther. The albino child was engrossed in reading, oblivious to her mother's worries. Martha feared that Esther could be abducted or even killed at any moment. Albinos face blatant discrimination in Malawi, East Africa, where there are many superstitious and misguided beliefs about this condition. However, over the past 3 years, discrimination has gradually turned into deadly attacks. On May 23, 2016, Fletcher Marzina, 38 years old, became the 18th albino person to be killed in Malawi since the end of 2014. The grisly killings involve victims being dismembered, limbs severed, and bones stripped. Annalise Carter, 21 years old, is one of the victims who had all her limbs severed. The 21-year-old albino woman went missing in Kumtumba village, Dedza district in April 2016. Farmers found her decomposing body in a pit latrine. Both her arms and legs had been amputated, and there was a stab wound in her chest. Annalise was lured by a relative who promised to find her a job. She trusted him to find employment for her. At least 10 men, including the relative, were arrested by the police on suspicion of being involved in Annalise's murder. Subsequently, the relative and another man were convicted of conspiracy to commit murder and kidnapping. They received 17-year prison sentences with hard labor. Annalise was not the only victim in a case involving close relatives. On the night of April 3, 2016, a 23-month-old albino girl, Whitney Chalumfa, was also abducted while sleeping with her mother at home in Chizia village, Kasungu district. Her mother, Madalitso Lemony, 25 years old, woke up at 4 a.m. and discovered her daughter missing. 10 days later, while 2 women were gathering firewood on Balantha Hill nearby, they found several skull fragments, teeth, clothes, and diapers. Madalitso identified these as items her daughter was wearing when abducted. A few weeks later, 4 bones believed to be Whitney's were found in a garden. In connection with the incident, police arrested 5 people, including Whitney's father, on suspicion of involvement in the abduction and murder of the child. While the killing of albino people remains an unresolved issue, a new trend of human hunting has recently been discovered in East Africa. In Mozambique, bald-headed men are being targeted by believers in local superstitions. They believe that body parts such as organs and heads of bald people can bring good luck. Last month, 2 bald men were brutally killed in Zambezia province of Mozambique. One was beheaded, and his organs were removed. The body parts of these 2 men were allegedly taken for ritualistic purposes. The police spokesperson of Mozambique, Inacida Dina, told reporters that 2 suspects in their 20s had been arrested. The local community believes that bald men are wealthy, Dina said. Albinism is a congenital disorder that causes individuals to lack pigment in their skin, hair, and eyes, affecting about 1 in 20,000 people worldwide. In some regions of southern and eastern Africa, body parts of albinos are believed to have magical properties, bringing luck and wealth. Consequently, they are hunted and killed by albino hunters. The attackers sell the body parts of albino people to witch doctors for money. Women and children are particularly vulnerable to attacks for 2 reasons. Firstly, many believe that having sexual relations with an albino person can cure HIV/AIDS. Secondly, Children are chosen because their innocence is believed to make the rituals of witch doctors more effective, according to Mirror. Even the deceased albinos are not allowed to rest in peace. Their bones are stolen from graves to be sold. From November 2014 to the end of May 2016 in Malawi, at least 18 albinos were killed. At least 5 others were abducted and remain missing. These alarming figures are contained in the report Violence and Discrimination Against Persons with Albinism in Malawi by Amnesty International, published in 2016. According to the report, since 2009, cases of abduction, murder, and grave exhumation of albinos have sharply increased in Malawi. Amnesty International believes that the number of killings and abductions may be higher due to lack of monitoring or comprehensive statistics by authorities. Information gathering is mainly carried out by under-resourced and undercapacitated humanitarian actors, who may not be able to document all crimes against albino people. Malawi's president, Peter Mutharika, has publicly condemned the killings of albino people and established a commission to address the issue. Anyone who thinks they can get rich by using the bones or something similar of albino people because witch doctors say so, is stupid, Mutharika said. This phenomenon is not limited to Malawi, it is also occurring in neighboring countries such as Mozambique and Tanzania. The United Nations says nearly 80 albino people in Tanzania have been killed since 2000. The organization even warns that albinos in Malawi are at risk of total extinction, according to CNN. Faced with the looming danger from these hunters, bald-headed and albino individuals are living secretive and fearful lives. So what are authorities, human rights organizations, and society doing to stop this horrific human hunting spree? The most evil witch in France, killing 2,500 children for dark rituals to serve the French nobility. Catherine Monvoisin, also known as La Voisin, 1640, February 22, 1680, is infamous as a French malevolent witch. She headed a network of fortune-tellers in Paris providing poisons, aphrodisiacs, abortion services, and magical rituals to aristocratic clients. Her black magic organization is believed to have killed 1,000 people, though some speculate up to 2,500 may have been victims. Little is known about La Voisin's early life. Born Catherine Deshays into a poor family, she showed interest in divination from a young age, learning palmistry at 9. In her teens, La Voisin married Antoine Monvoisin, a jeweler and silk merchant in Pont-Marie, Paris, with whom she had 3 children. When her husband's business failed, she turned to fortune-telling to support the family. Catherine's main divination methods were palmistry, physiognomy, and tarot reading. Besides fortune-telling, she also practiced as a midwife, which evolved into providing abortion services. As abortion was illegal in France at the time, women sought out figures like Catherine for assistance. She sometimes helped women with abortions, secretly adopting the children afterward or disposing of them discreetly. Regardless of the method, her discretion likely contributed to her gaining more and more famous clientele, predominantly from the highest echelons of French society. Her fortune-telling business gradually evolved into producing and selling magical items, arranging black masses, selling aphrodisiacs and poisons, profiting from her clients' desires about their futures. By the late 1660s, La Voisin had become a wealthy and renowned fortune-teller with clients from the highest French nobility. During her tenure as a fortune-teller, she realized her clients' desires for fame, wealth, and love in the future, such as wanting someone to love them, wishing for someone's death to inherit, or marrying for reputation or money. She increasingly used magic to cater to the increasingly outrageous demands of the aristocracy. For clients seeking love, she concocted love powders consisting of toad bones, rat teeth, Spanish flies, iron filings, human blood, and mummy dust, claiming these ingredients were part of her love potions. Using black masses for evil schemes. The pinnacle of La Voisin's cruelty and depravity was the Black Mass, where clients performed rituals to pray to Satan to make their wishes come true. In these masses, a woman was used as an altar, on which a bowl was placed, a child was lifted onto the bowl, and their blood was poured into it. Whether these children were murdered or died from natural causes beforehand remains unknown. A notable case of La Voisin spell-casting was for Madame de Montespan to become King Louis XIV's mistress, one of the most powerful men in the world. To become the king's mistress, Montespan spared no effort, even selling her soul to Satan. In 1667, Montespan hired La Voisin to arrange a black mass. The mass was held in a house on Rue de la Tannerie. Shortly after, Montespan became the king's official mistress, and thereafter, she would hire La Voisin whenever issues arose in her relationship with the king. This success propelled La Voisin to new heights. Soon, she organized black masses for her clients to gain lovers, marriages, and other desires. Later on, Montespan complained to La Voisin about her aging, fearing it would diminish her beauty and lose the king's favor. La Voisin proposed a wildly insane idea to Montespan, using children's blood to concoct a potion that could prolong youth. With the help of her accomplices, La Voisin conducted numerous black masses using children's blood to fulfill her clients' wicked schemes. From here, the shadow of evil enveloped Paris, innocent children disappeared mysteriously, and frantic search parties scoured the city. No one suspected that the aristocracy of Paris was complicit in these crimes. In 1677, Montespan explicitly stated that if the king abandoned her, she would kill him. When the king began a relationship with another mistress, Angelique de Fontanges, in 1679, Montespan called La Voisin and requested her to kill both the king and Fontanges. She and her cohorts decided to poison the king by spreading toxic oil on a document, to be delivered directly into his hands. A mere touch would infect King Louis with a deadly necrotizing fungus, causing him to slowly die in agony. Montespan sent the document to the king, but her initial efforts failed due to numerous other people petitioning the king. Some time later, the king's sister was discovered poisoned. The king began to suspect the witch La Voisin. The death of the king's sister, the Duchesse d'Orléans, was attributed to poisoning, and the crimes of La Voisin and her accomplices were quickly uncovered. On March 12, 1679, La Voisin was arrested and interrogated. A search of her sinister witch's abode revealed horrifying discoveries. The basement was decorated as an altar with goat heads and torture implements. Moreover, she stored many dangerous poisons. Numerous corpses were kept in a cold room, while the garden contained buried bodies of children. On February 17, 1680, La Voisin was brought to trial, convicted of practicing witchcraft, killing around 1,000 to 2,500 people, and sentenced to death 2 days later. On her way to the execution site, many witnesses saw her in a drunken state, and when tied to the stake, she vigorously kicked the dry grass around, but to no avail. The fire spread rapidly and erupted fiercely, like consuming the dark shadows that had engulfed Paris for so long.